Taylor, the hold on, you got to mute me in the background. I think you got the YouTube going. Something weird's happening with the audio.
You want me to click mute?
Nah, I just hear echo. Is the YouTube playing in the background?
Nah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I just hear an echo. It's really weird. Okay, bro, audio, visual, this is really cool. Melodies, this is interesting.
Thank you. Thank you.
The execution of this, I'm not a fan of. This is probably my least favorite thing that you've submitted, and I feel like this is what you did. And I'm not, and I don't know if this is what you did intentionally, but I feel like because it was a good message, and it was like a sweet song, that you kind of compromised on the execution of the vocals on this. Both singing, the auto-tune, the pitch correction, the choppy verses. And I don't know if that was intentional. Like, I don't know if it's supposed to sound weird, or I don't know what happened here, but it just it definitely wasn't up to par with some of your other stuff.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, you know, to be honest, at the end of the day, something fire to one man is trash to the next man. So people's favorite artist is somebody who I hate to listen to. So my mission is to encourage as many people as I can to be who God made them to be. And God's been backing that up. That's why I appreciate you. And one of the reasons I submit my music here, somebody told me to, is to get my message out to as many people as I can. And yeah, just to keep on doing that, because I know God has called me to do this. There's no doubt in my mind. So this song is a fun song. You know, it's a turn up song. It might not be for everybody. I know it's different, but I'm different. And so I appreciate your insight, your input, and sharing your channel that I can put my music on here with you. And, you know, I'm listening to what you say, and I'm listening. I'm not just like, oh, he don't know what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. You know, for real, I'm listening, you know, and I hear you, and I'm going to take a look at what I do as I move forward, because I'm not going to stop doing what God made me to do. I know this is what God made me to do, period. You know, for at least the next 10 years. I'm out here in the Northwest. We're passing out thousands of copies of mixtapes for free. I'm doing free shows, doing events.
I love you. I love you for rolling into your vision on that. That's very dope of you, because you genuinely believe what you're doing, and I believe it for you. So I think that's beautiful. I think it's like you rolled right into the vision and the mission of what you're doing, which is smart. It's how you articulate it and get people behind what you're doing. And I think that's good. I think my question to you, my legitimate question to you would be, if music was basketball and me and you went to go hoop.
Yeah.
And we were playing because we wanted to win.
Mm-hmm.
Did you show up on this record and give me 150% so that we could win? And we're on Jesus' team. Is that what happened on this record?
Say it again. I want to answer honestly, not just
if music is basketball.
Okay.
And we're on Team Jesus.
Yeah.
And we're trying to win the game. The goal is to win the game.
Yeah.
Did you pull up to the court and give me 150% so that we would win the game? Or did you pull up to the court and not give 150%?
I gave 1,000% with my album being ready to drop and ready to release. And I needed I wanted to spit something that was Holy Ghost, like praise, like worship type vibes, with the time and everything that I had, because 100% is 100% of what's available. My time and deadlines and everything. Like, okay,
so Taylor, so you answered my question. So what you're saying is, you did the most with what you had. My feedback to you would be, Taylor, you're overtraining before the game. You overdid something, and therefore you had a lackluster performance on this thing. Meaning that I think you may have spent too many hours in the gym last night, and when it was time to hoop at 7 a.m. to beat the defenders, you didn't come with fresh legs, and you didn't come with a fresh mind because you stayed up too late training too hard, which you self-imposed on yourself. Deadlines as an indie artist, all these different things, those are all self-imposed. I'll tell you a story real quick, Taylor. I put out an album. You could look it up. It's called Carry On, and hopefully you never find the album version of this. There's an EP version of this. And I put the album out because I booked a show at the House of Blues to do an album release party. I booked the show at the House of Blues to headline my first headlining House of Blues show. Did I lose Taylor? This is a really good story, Taylor. I hope he's still watching. Dang it. This is a really good story. Let me tell y'all the story anyway. Taylor will catch the replay of this. I booked a show at the House of Blues. I booked a show to headline my first show in the San Diego House of Blues on the main stage, not the little rinky-dink side stage, the main stage, okay? And there was 600 tickets sold. The mistake I made is that I booked the show and called it an album release party before there was an album that was done. So guess what happened? Your boy put out a trash album. Your boy put out a bad album because I self-imposed a deadline on myself as an independent artist when there was no deadline on myself. And I had a great run of doing amazing stuff with the breaks, and I had a lot of momentum and a lot of credibility, and then I put out a trash record because I rushed the process. I didn't do a good service to me, to anybody around me, to anybody in my camp by doing that, and the show was terrible. My set was awful. It was terrible. I tried to do a live band with backup singer. It was a complete, utter train wreck. It was a disaster. I apologize to anybody who pulled up. So sometimes as independent artists, sometimes as people who are creative, we self-impose deadlines onto ourselves that aren't even deadlines. They're not real. And I remember Andy Mineo and Ray Rock calling me after hearing the album and telling me how terrible the album was. And you know what? It hurt my feelings. It hurt my feelings, but I needed to hear that from somebody that was at a professional level with their art and could sit there and say, wait, why was the album bad? Oh, because you rushed it. Why did you rush it? Oh, because you booked a show before the album was done. You didn't have to do that show. You could have just made it a showcase night. You didn't have to headline that show. You imposed it on yourself and you made a mess. And so don't defer stuff to abstract deadlines. And so with the reason why I tell that story is, guys, with music, show up and give 150% on every single performance you have. Give 150% to every single record, to every single recording take, to every single mix. Give 150% because you don't get more than one first impression with certain people. Okay? And so sometimes we'll say, oh yeah, I gave 150% with what I had at the moment. It's like, well, what you had at the moment, it was your fault that you was at the gym too late, overdoing it, training until midnight and knowing you had to be up to have a basketball game at 7 a.m. That's your fault, right? And so I'm not trying to be harsh on Taylor. I'm saying, hey, we have to step back and reevaluate. Did you give your best? That is the only question I have. Did you give your best? As a Christian, Colossians 3:23, I do all things as unto Christ the Lord, not as unto men. Taylor missed everything I just said, didn't he? Taylor, did you?
Yo, my phone died. Sorry about that, y'all. Dang, right when it was getting good. That was whack.
Okay, I want you to go back and rewind the stream and watch that for me. I don't want to repeat all that. But
I'm going to, big bro. Appreciate you, dog.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you, brother.
I'm going to tap in next week, too.
All right, hey, 150%. I want 150% from every submission.
For sure. I'm the mascot on the side of the court. That's what I am when it comes to
Nah. If you shot a hoop, I need 150%. That's it.
All right, for
if
sure.
you shot a hoop, I need 150%.
I'm trying to own the team.
All right. You got to be great at hooping first. All right. Yo, that's I love that dude, man. I love that dude.